My name is Nate Williams. I'm actually one of the first juveniles in the state of California that was tried as an adult. I was only 17 years old when I was sentenced to 25 years of life.
I was incarcerated for 27 years, 10 months, and 15 days. I was released from prison June 24th, 2016.
I'm also formerly incarcerated. I spent 15 years. I was one of the youth tried as an adult, sentenced to life in prison.
My family have been incarcerated since the abolition of slavery. The only ones that haven't went is my great-grandchildren yet. But everybody else has spent time in jail and has spent time in handcuffs.
Whether you live in San Francisco or live in Oakland, we're all being pushed out, we're all being displaced, we're all being terrorized, we're all being profiled, we're all being murdered. We get death threats. I get death threats regularly.
The city, we said, is always asking organizations who get city funding to prove the absolute efficacy of what they do. But we don't hold police to that standard. We don't hold jails and prisons to that standard.
There's a problem when you personally know more than one person who has been shot and killed by the police. Alex was a personal friend of mine, and he was not the first person that I personally knew and had dinner with and had drinks with that was shot and killed by police violence.
The first step, before you can become an organizer, is how do we move people beyond trauma?
Fundamentally, I think that if I want to see a real paradigm shift, it is when we learn how to love each other more than we fear each other. I'm bringing people into spaces that don't even walk the yard together.
We're all formerly gang members and all kind of stuff. We actually go on trips together. We live together in houses. It's like that stuff we was doing in prison wasn't real.
When we share our stories and we reopen our wounds to teach the people, that's a really sacred gift to offer.
We need to stop allocating money toward law enforcement because that does not make us safe.
We actually don't believe that police departments can be reformed because they're not broken. They're doing what they were born to do. They were born to catch, hunt, incarcerate, and kill niggas, and they're still doing that.
So when we see policing in Oakland, it is by design. And it's not about public safety. It's about making communities of color feel uncomfortable so that we feel so uncomfortable that we decide to move to Stockton or Antioch.
We're really going after that 50% of OPD's budget to be redirected towards things that not just us crazy radicals say keep us safe, but like mountains and mountains of research say jobs keep us safe. Mountains and mountains of research say education keeps us safe, right? Mountains and mountains of research say families that stay together, right, are able to keep communities safe.
I am so ready to have those hard conversations about those people. I have to unearth what are those people to you, because I have a those people. Everybody in this room, whether we want to admit it or not, have a those people. When are we going to start seeing reforms that impact people who are in on violent crimes, on serious crimes, on, so I'm ready to go there because that's what it's going to take.
What does it mean to create a space where people feel safe and where people feel like they can participate fully as empowered part of the movement?
Safety is relative, and safety actually looks and feels different to everyone, right? My comrade, mentioned something around being able to create a brave space, and I want to echo that. With every movement, how do we get a little bit closer to freedom, to liberation, to creating better pathways and models for the generations that are coming after us?
Direct action isn't just about shutting shit down. Direct action is about interrupting business as usual in a whole bunch of different strategic ways that lead to practical policy and practice change on the ground that improves quality of life for our people. And so there's a role for everybody. You don't need to be shutting down freeways if that's not your thing. You don't need to be talking to policymakers if that's not your thing, right? We need people to cook food and do research and write reports and babysit and, right? There's all of these things. I mean, if you look at the Panthers, they didn't have it all right. They messed a lot of shit up. But there was a role for everybody, and people did their role and stayed in their lane, and they worked as a collective in a community.